And why there is a difference in intensity of light in all these things. Next. Okay, so let me just start from very basic thing, which is all of you must have done splitting of light through a prism. And in that, what you do is you have a source of light and you rotate the prism till you get what is called minimum deviation. Okay, and so what do you do for this? You calculate what is the total deviation versus the incident angle, and suppose you draw the graph, you will find one minimum. Now, why is it that this minimum is important for us? I will just tell you. Now, if suppose instead of rotating the prism, if I were to have light in different directions with different intensity, then these with different incident angles, suppose these incident angles are all uniformly spread. If you read out the deviation angle, you will find that there is a high intensity of deviation angles here. That is, the number of after deviation, around the minimum deviation angle, the rays of light would have got compressed in close to each other. Now, what does that mean? It means within some small angle, there are lots of rays, which means this will be brightest as compared to this. Okay? So, it means that if suppose instead of turning the prism, suppose I were to illuminate it uniformly by rays from different angles, I will find that the emerging light will not be uniform, but will have be concentrated along the minimum deviation. And this aspect will be very important in the formation of minimum. Any question, you can stop me in between. Okay? Next. Okay. So now let us look at, armed with this information, let us look at the reading. This is a standard picture, you must have seen. So what you have is, you have a spherical droplet of water and you have sunlight coming from here. Now what is happening is, if you take a normal, I don't know something, this line should have been here, normal as a moon, okay? So if you draw the normal, you have the incident angle and refraction angle. This will hit this here and it will get reflected. I will just come to this reflection. There is normally many people have a wrong concept of what kind of a reflection it is. When there is a reflection, by laws of reflection, this angle and these angles are equal. And if I draw these two to the center, this forms an isosceles triangle, so this R and this R is equal. Okay? And again, when it comes here, because of isosceles triangle, this R and this R is angle is equal, and since these two R's are same, this emergent angle is same as the incident angle. So this is how it goes up. And so if suppose the sunlight is coming horizontally, after all this reflection it is going at it, and an observer here will see this light at an angular elevation of alpha. Okay, so this is the horizontal, so person will see it at this angular elevation. Okay, so now let us try to see what is alpha. This is coming from here. First of all, there is a deviation, then the further deviation, then the further deviation, and if an extra deviation of alpha comes, it will be going back. That is, it will have rotated by 2 pi. Which means alpha, that is what it should have rotated here, plus this is 2r, so the deviation is 2 pi minus 2r. That is the angle through which it has rotated, plus there is I minus r deviation, I minus r deviation, 2 I minus r deviation, and so the sum of all this should be 2 pi, which is going back. So this is the equation, and if I solve this, I will get alpha equal to 4r minus 2. From Snell's law, I can relate r and I. Oh, there also is okay. R and I, and so I have sin I by sin r is mu. And this is where is the important thing. This mu is a function of time. That is, refractive index is slightly different for different variables. Okay? Okay, and so now if we substitute it here, what I get is alpha, I write in R in terms of I, so alpha is related to mu, which is related to alpha, to lambda, which means the angle through which this has, the elevation angle depends on the wavelength of light. Okay, fine. But now this is not the end of the story. Now, this is not a single light, single ray. There are many rays coming from here, just as you see. Now, unlike the prism, this side is not a plane, it is a curved surface. So in the case of a prism, if I set a parallel beam of light, all have the same incident angle. But since this is curved, different beams will have different incident angles because the normal is different. So the situation is something like what I told in the beginning. I have a prism and I am sending lights from different incident angles. And so the emerging one will have an angle of minimum deviation. And so I calculate d alpha by di equal to 0 and it will give me an alpha. That is, this is just like I told you that if I have a uniform beam, then the emerging beam is set in the direction of minimum deviation, it is more concentrated. So in a particular direction at this thing, the light will be more concentrated. But this value depends on lambda. It means different wavelengths will be concentrated in different directions, and that is the whole crux of the rainbow. So what happens if you look at it here, I have the red beam coming here. These are the things, and this is the minimum deviation, so there is a high concentration. And if I actually draw a graph, can you just go back? And you see, here if you look at it, here you have the minimum. Okay? Because there are two refractions. Now go next. Here there is one reflection in between. So the whole thing is ulta, it becomes the maximum. Okay? And so here, again at maximum, these red light will be concentrated. Similarly, blue light is also there. This will also be concentrated, but this deviation angle, very maximum deviation, will be different for blue and one happens at about 40.65 degrees, the other is some 42.37 degrees, and that makes a difference. Next. Okay. Next. Go back. Okay. Now there are some important points for clarification. See, the primary rainbow involves two refractions and one reflection. Okay? What is important is that this reflection is just ordinary reflection. It is not total internal reflection. I have found many students having this wrong impression that it is total internal reflection. And I tell you why it cannot be total internal reflection. Just go back. Sorry, okay. The teacher coming with the scale is a bit scary, okay? Okay. So here, suppose this was total internal reflection. It means R should be greater than the critical angle. Okay? If R is greater than the critical angle, this light cannot escape because this is also R. Similarly, this could have never come in because this is R. Because by reciprocal this one, this should be, if you go light like this, it will go out. If it is greater than critical angle, it cannot go out. So it means that this cannot be total internal reflection. And I will tell you that this is a very important point in discussing the structure of the rainbow. So what you see here is, if we use a total internal reflection, there is no leakage of light. But because it is not total internal reflection, a part of the light leaks out. So and as a result, there is a drop in intensity of the reflected light. That is why it is not so easy to see a rainbow because it is slightly moving. There is a loss of intensity which happens. Next. Okay? So this is not, and there is a loss of intensity in reflection. So this is something which you should remember in this rainbow. Next. So now I have combined those two pictures of red and blue. So I have all these coming like this. The red has maximum in one direction and the blue has maximum in a slightly different direction. This observer see only the blue. Then where does the red come in? The red comes in from another droplet which is out. Whose red light is going to be? Because these two are the same direction, these two are the same direction. So so when you see a rainbow, the red comes from a different drop than the blue. Okay? And because of this angle dependence, you will always find that in a primary rainbow, red is above and blue is below. Because of the angle of deviation. Okay? And this happens around 45.65 degrees for blue, as I said. And this thickness is roughly about 1.5 degrees if you assume sun to be a point source. Okay? So it's a parallel prism, but sun is not a point source. It has a finite thickness, and because of it is not 1.5 degrees, but 2.3 degrees, about 2.36 degrees, which is the thickness of the ring, angular thickness of the ring, primary. Okay, so is this clear? Any questions? The primary rainbow. So basically what I am saying is, every wavelength has a different angle of minimum deviation. At angle of minimum deviation, there is a higher concentration of light of that wavelength. So I have a red here and blue here, but if an observer is located, the person sees blue because red is going somewhere else. Some other observer will see. But this observer will see a red from another droplet. So when the whole set of droplets are there, the person will see blue, red, and all the other Vibgyor colors in between. So as you keep increasing the wavelength from blue to red, I will have all these colors in between, and so I will find the primary ring. Okay? Yeah. Next. And so this is the primary rainbow. So this is the thing which I see the blue, which is the least elevation, red, which is the highest elevation, and this angular thickness is about 2.3 degrees. So this is the explanation for the most prominent feature of the rainbow, which is primary rainbow. Next. Now let us go to what is secondary rainbow. Now I told about two refractions and one reflection. But now I can have another ray of light on top, which can go like this, like this, like this. There are two reflections. Okay? Now I told you that when you have a prism, I have just two refractions. When I plot deviation versus incident angle, it has a minimum. When I introduce one reflection, it had a maximum. Now I introduce two reflections, again you have a minimum. So okay, I'll just count it. So now here, you forget this right. Now suppose beta is, this is supposed to be here. Suppose this beta is the angle of deviation. Now the angle of deviation comes from the following way. First I have an I minus r, and I have an I minus r, so I have 2 I minus r. Now I have 2 pi minus 2r at reflection, but it is twice happening. So I have 2 pi minus 2r plus beta equal to 2 pi, and if I solve, this is what I get as the deviation. And then I do the same thing about d beta by di. So d beta by di, and I do all this, and now I find that the beta minimum for red is 50 degrees and beta minimum for blue is about 53.4 degrees. Next. So this is what I said. Now since I have two reflections in between, it is now a minimum for the incident angle versus deviation, and the same thing which I told you, there is a high concentration of red here, or concentration here, here and here, and so these two angles are 50 and 53 as I saw. Next. Now what I find is that here the red is at a lesser elevation than the blue. So the sequence of colors is reversed. So you have red below and blue above, and this is secondary rainbow. So here you have from red to blue, and this is the incoming sunlight. And this distance, this in between the angle between primary and the secondary rainbow is about 8 degrees. Next. Let us come back to this issue of the reflection. As I said, and that's going to become important here, even more important here. The reflection is ordinary reflection and not total internal reflection. Now, secondary rainbow involves 2 reflections. It means there is a greater loss of intensity. Because since it's not total internal reflection, reflection leads to a loss of intensity. Since there are 2 reflections in secondary and 1 in primary, secondary has a greater loss. Okay. So as mentioned above, these are ordinary phenomena. Hence, loss on two reflections imply greater loss, leakage due to refraction. And so primary rainbows involve only 1 reflection, so lesser loss as compared to them, and hence primary rainbow is brighter than the secondary. Because secondary rainbow involves 2 ordinary reflections. Next. And so here again you see that this is a secondary rainbow, this is blue to red, this is red to blue. And this is fainter as compared to the primary rainbow. Okay? Fine. Now these are the usual features which you generally see. Usually you see only primary rainbow, but if it is a very clear sky, you see secondary also. Next. Now you have another feature which normally one misses. Go back. Yes. Now, so here, when you have some total amount of light coming in, say red light coming in, total amount of light will get conserved. You can't create more light. Which means, if the red is prominent in one direction, it means it is decreasing in the other directions. So, if you draw all the light as rays, you are only rearranging the rays and not creating more rays. So, that is, the high intensity along this direction is not because more rays are generated, but the uniformly distributed rays are being rearranged so that there is a large concentration. Okay? So, it is like in an economy, suppose somebody is going rich, the other guy has to go poor. Okay? So, it means this ray has to be moved out of somewhere else, which means the amount of red light in the other regions is reduced. Similarly for blue ray. So now what it means is, here blue has more, red has decreased. Here red is more, others have decreased. But now if I go here, what happens? The light was there everywhere, but it means from this direction, red has been removed and put here. But whatever happens in red will also happen in the infrared. All the reflection. Okay? So it means that when I go from blue to red, there is an infrared maximum somewhere here. But I cannot see infrared maximum. So it means that the visible light which the eye can see is being depleted from here, and what is being increased is the invisible light, and as a result, you see this region as dark. Because there is no light from it. And till this point it is dark. And this is called the Alexandrian band. Next. Now you go back to that. Go. That is called the Alexandrian band. So here what happens is, if I now mark the elevation angle, here it is alpha and this is beta. In the primary rainbow, red has the highest elevation. Blue has a lower elevation. In the secondary rainbow, blue has a higher elevation and red has secondary elevation. And in this region, the wavelengths which have maximum are not visible to the eye. And as a result, this region is slightly darker than the other region, and that is what is this region which is the Alexandrian band. Okay? So, these are the 3 structures, and then we come to the last one. Have I been able to make you think that you understand? Okay.
Make to think you understand.
Okay. Tell me. You heard something? Any question? Okay. Fine. Next. The story does not end here. Till now we were talking about simple reflection and refraction. And quite contrary to what you may actually think, there is a role of diffraction also in brain. And that comes out in the following way. You see, when you want to do a diffraction experiment in the lab, the absolute value of the slit width doesn't matter. The slit width is to be small, but small with respect to what? Small with respect to the distance to the screen. So what matters is the slit width divided by the distance to the screen. Because many people have found that when does diffraction happen? Slit width is out of their nonsense. Okay? So it's actually to do with the ratio. As a result, although my raindrop is macroscopic, it is so far away that the angle is very small and diffraction happens. And so, for example, here, if I have a slit, red will be like this, it will diffract more, and blue will be like this. So when you see here, it will be white, but here there will be colored fringes. Okay? Now, this does not care whether light is passing through it or light is cutting from it. Okay? Instead of something passing through, it can be a drop of water. And light falls and reflects. So as far as the screen is concerned, it is like a slit from where light is coming, and because of the finite size of the drop, you have diffraction, and as a result, this is the supernumerary. This is the primary rainbow, this is the Alexander line, and you see below are the supernumerary arcs. This happens because of diffraction, which in turn results from this the fact that the droplet size to the distance to the droplet is very much. Okay? I think let's go to the next. Okay. Back. Okay, so this is the first part which is on rainbow. Now I'll just make some comments. Actually, it has got a very far-reaching consequence. You see, when you have in quantum mechanics, you know that you don't have anything called a wave or anything called a particle. Everything is a wave particle, for lack of any other name which can be given. And when you say wave or a particle, it is not the attribute of the matter, of the material. It is an attribute of a certain property which gets manifested when you do a certain experiment. Certain experiments make the wave nature manifest itself. Certain experiments make the particle nature manifest itself. So so technically, this whole thing is electron a wave or a particle. And the question is meaningless. Okay, I mean, of course, in an interview they ask, don't say this because, okay, just explain this. Okay, because there is nothing like, I mean, it is like saying, in a more philosophical note, this person is a good person or a bad person. Nobody is good or nobody is bad. Different circumstances bring out certain properties of the person. Wave particle nature is also the same. Okay? Wave particle nature is also the same. You do a Davis-Germer experiment, the wave nature comes out. You do a photoelectric experiment, particle nature. Okay? So, now, so if suppose, since in certain situations, the wave nature of electron is manifests itself. Now, in nuclear physics scattering experiments, you have a similar situation. The wave, which is here the electron, is getting reflected by a nucleus. And so, similar things like rainbow will manifest there, and there is a phenomenon called rainbow scattering in nuclear physics. Okay? So, what is the equivalent of wavelength? Momentum from de Broglie. So, instead of the wavelength distribution, it will be a momentum distribution of the. So, there is something called rainbow scattering, and yeah. So, so I will actually tell you some references which you can read. Okay. So, I will tell you how I got interested. I bought a book of Scientific American called Light from the Sky. It's a collection of papers, and there was a thing on rainbow. So I started working it out, spent 2 years in that, on and off. Okay, and finally made this. Okay, fine. So, if you have been very happy with this portion, you will start pursuing the next one. That was now, as I said, the first one was basically pictures, the second one is mainly equations. Okay, can't help it, that's it. Okay, and basically what I will do is, so I will try to do a physical picture also, not just mathematical. So, convection. What is convection? No, convection, when you boil water, it's convection. In atmosphere, there is convection. Basically, it's a transfer of mass. And so, when does convection happen? Okay, when the temperature is higher, is lower on top, then the hot gas goes up. The truth is more complicated than that. You can have a situation where convection does not happen even when there is a colder gas, or even when there is a warmer gas, and that is what I mean. And that's where some basics of thermodynamics comes in the matter of convection. Next. So convection is basically transfer of mass in fluid against gravity due to variation in temperature. Broadly, that's what is convection. Now what we will see is what is the condition for air to convect. And as a corollary, I will tell you something about the development of smog. It is closely related to this. It is closely related to that intricacy I was telling you, that even though the temperature may be decreasing as you increase in height, still there will not be convection. Next. Okay, so, if you don't understand some equation, don't worry, I'll keep explaining the physics of it as we go. So, a fluid is characterized by a parameter called density. Density is a thermodynamic parameter, and any thermodynamic variable can be expressed, whose state can be expressed in terms of any two thermodynamic parameters. Here I choose pressure and entropy per unit mass. Okay, so I say that any thermodynamic variable can be expressed in terms of two thermodynamic parameters. I choose it to be pressure and density. So now my system is the following. This is my ground level, and I consider a certain spherical region with air, which I call broadly a blob. Okay. Now this denotes outside PO, SO, TO, rho O. That is density, temperature, entropy per unit mass, and pressure outside. Pi, Si, Ti, rho I, the same parameters inside. I for inside, O for outside. Okay, so I'll come to this portion. Now, first of all, I assume, just for simplicity, that to begin with, all these parameters are the same. That is, I have okay, so I say that PO equal to PI, SO equal to SI, TO equal to TI, and rho equal to rho. So initially, all these things are the same. Okay, fine. Now what I do is, suppose I displace. Now I'll explain in technical terms what exactly is convection, because I have not yet properly defined the thing called convection. Suppose I take this blob and slightly move it up. Okay? Two things can happen. Either this position is a stable position, and if I move it up, it comes back. Just like a ball at the bottom of a vessel. If I move it, it will go back. It's a stable. Or I can have a situation where the moment I move it, it runs away. It is like a ball kept on top of it. I move it slightly and it goes down. Now, if I move it slightly and it comes back, it means there is no convection. Because when there is a perturbation, the physical process cannot carry this blob. On the other hand, if I move this blob up slightly,